All right, welcome into New York City. I'm Bill Reiter. This is Reiter's Block. The number one team in American college basketball is Gonzaga, and we've got their point guard, senior Josh Perkins. He'll be on the show in about 15 minutes. LeBron James setting more records, or at least passing Michael's mark on the all-time points list. And a deep dive on some of the NBA stories we should be talking about starts right now from New York City. All right, I promise, we're aware. The Lakers are bad. We got that. LeBron is good at basketball. And this guy named Michael Jordan once played the game. And so it goes, and so on, and so on. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But there's actually, obscured by that story and some of the other stories around the NBA and some of the drama, are some really great sports things, basketball moments, basketball narratives that are going on around the country that I think are underreported. And we're going to focus on them right now, starting with one of the coolest matchups in the game, maybe for years to follow, Luka Doncic versus Trae Young, the two most exciting rookies in the game. They were traded for one another on draft day. And I kind of like the arrogance here, but Trae himself said the other day, quote, and you can see it there, "It can go down as a battle like Magic and Bird. They battled for years, will always compare to each other. It could be something like that when we both can be great." That is a really big statement. Now, on the face of it, might seem preposterous, but the reality is Luka Doncic looks like a multi-time MVP in the years ahead, and Trae Young, at a minimum, a multi-time All-Star, and maybe an MVP himself. Let's start with Trae, because he had the opposite of what he did at the end of his collegiate career at Oklahoma, where he was on fire and then kind of cooled off. He started the NBA a little cold. He has been red hot, especially since the All-Star game. Since the All-Star game, Trae has scored the most points of any player in the NBA, averaging about 28 points per game over his last 7. By the way, hitting three-pointers per game over that stretch. He's been awesome. He's averaging, 18.8, almost 19 points per game, 9 rebounds, 8 rebounds, 3.5 rebounds per game. He would be the Rookie of the Year. Hands down, it would be by a landslide if it weren't for the guy on draft day who was traded for him, Luka Doncic. I can't say enough great things about Doncic's game. It is remarkable. It is transcendent, even by the standards of some of the freakishly incredible young players who do amazing things in the NBA right now, like Giannis and Embiid and Simmons. Doncic might have the opportunity to be on a level all his own. Last night, perfect example, 31 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, and that's just another night for this guy. He's got 8 games with 30 or more points so far this season. For most of the year until just a few weeks ago, he was a teenager, and speaking of which, he is the first teenager in NBA history to record a 30-point triple-double. He's the 7th teenager to reach 1,000 points before his 20th birthday, and if Kristaps Porzingis can be healthy in the years ahead, and I know it's a giant question mark, you're talking about a Dallas Mavericks team that will have the best 1-2 punch in the game sooner rather than later. I know the Mavericks aren't really compelling theater compared to some of the drama out there, and I know the Hawks aren't exactly going to make the playoffs, let alone make a run, but both of these young players are playing like the future superstars they are. Luka versus Trae, I promise, is worth your time. So is another League Pass favorite of mine. They haven't played well of late, I know, but the Sacramento Kings are really, really good even when they lose, and their future is remarkably bright. The Western Conference, and we'll get to this in a minute, is probably going to open a little bit wider in the years ahead in terms of teams that have a chance to actually be competitive come the postseason. The Kings are a few years away, but man, they're special. Now the naysayers will say, Reiter, you lost your mind. They've lost 6 of their last 8 games. I get it. Those losses come to the Celtics by 2, lost to the Clippers by 7, to Milwaukee by 1 in overtime, to the Nuggets by 1, to the Warriors by 2, and they beat the Thunder, and you're talking about a time of the year where teams are playing for the postseason. I know Buddy Hield's angry as hell and doesn't want to lose games anymore, but this is the kind of feeling, the kind of moments, the kind of momentum, the kind of great play at the end of the year that lead to failure that actually shape future championship teams. And I think that's what this team can be down the line. Think about this. They have 8 players who average 9 points or more per game, but their depth also pairs with their youth because all but one of those guys, 7 of them actually, are 26 or younger. De'Aaron Fox is 21 years old. Marvin Bagley is just 19 years old. Fox has the potential to be a superstar. Big jump from last season. And Bagley has looked like the stud that a lot of people thought he wasn't going to be when he got drafted by the Kings ahead of the guy we just mentioned, Doncic. So if you're sitting around looking for a game to watch and you want to see the future of the NBA in this moment, little time travel to the excellence that's coming, I promise you for the first time in a long time you won't be disappointed by Sacramento. Speaking of sea changes in the game, Brooklyn, their moment is now. Not an NBA championship, but they're 6th in the Eastern Conference. They're playing really good basketball. They're incredibly deep, and for the first time in a long time, we're going to have a New York team in the postseason that you actually have to be a little bit afraid of. They reached last year's win total on January 29th of this year. Their top 6 scorers are averaging double figures, including D'Angelo Russell, deservedly an all-star this year. So is Spencer Dinwiddie in terms of averaging double figures. Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, DeMar Carroll, Jared Allen. They play incredibly energetic basketball. They're out there dancing. They're having fun. They like playing together. Led by Russell, this is a dangerous team. They're not going to make an Eastern Conference Finals, not this year, but you do not want to face them. They are better than people give them credit for, and we finally have here in New York City the basketball, a little bit, that the city deserves. And I think these two teams speak to a bigger trend that we should be paying attention to. We talk about it here on the show. If you squint your eyes, if you look past the Kevin Durant drama selling out Mr. Steve Kerr as head coach, if you look past LeBron James and Lakers missing the postseason, what I think you actually see is the NBA as the CBA was supposed to make it all those years ago when the players got a lot more money, a lot more BRI, a bigger chunk of the bigger slice of the pie, and that is the idea that more than 1 or 2 teams can win an NBA championship. Milwaukee is for real in the years ahead. If Kawhi Leonard stays in Toronto, they're for real. I love what Denver's building. LeBron's going to get some help, and they're going to get really good. Kevin Durant's going to leave the Warriors, leaving a team in Golden State that can win a championship, but it won't be a foregone conclusion. We've seen the return, the ascension again of the excellence of Harden and that Rockets team with him. I don't love Jimmy Butler in Philly, but I think he's leaving. I think that'll return Embiid and Simmons as the tandem that pushes that organization where they need to go. I don't think Kyrie's going to be in Boston next year. That'll make them better and certainly competitive. I love Damian Lillard in Portland. He needs a little more help, more than CJ McCollum. There are a cluster of teams. The Thunder's a group that I'm forgetting with Paul George committed to Russell Westbrook. We're not that far from talking on this show and other shows and CBS Sports HQ about 3 or 6 or 8 teams that actually have a chance to win an NBA championship. It's very cool. 2 guys who aren't going to see that future are Dirk and Wade. Dirk Nowitzki, Dwayne Wade, 2 of the greats of all time. An interesting rivalry. What was disrespect between them back in the day has become a mutual admiration society, and they're both on their goodbye tours, and it's been something to behold, especially Wade lately, playing really well, giving his jersey to the young man in Atlanta, Herter. The shot he hit off the glass last week to give Miami the win. A little bit of Dwayne Wade reaching down deep to be the player that he used to be for flashes. These goodbyes matter. It doesn't feel as forced to me as some of the Derek Jeter, Kobe Bryant moments because it's quieter, but Dirk and Wade, 2 of the all-time greats. In fact, we'll dive into their legacies toward the end of the regular season. It's not all LeBron. It's not all LeBron drama. We're going to hit LeBron and the record and the drama in a little bit, but we just want to talk about some other things since you don't necessarily want people shouting at you all the time, and we can talk about a range of sports here on CBS Sports HQ, which is one of the things we love about this network and I love about doing this show. I also love the fact that we try to bring you some really cool guests. Josh Perkins, one of the best point guards in the country, plays for, at least right now, arguably, probably the best basketball team in the country. Gonzaga's #1. We're going to interview, visit with, and have a conversation with Josh on the show in just a minute here on CBS Sports HQ, so please don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back into the show. Bill Reiter with you here on Reiter's Block. As I'm sure you're aware, you should be aware, it's March, which means a lot of college basketball talk in the days and weeks ahead, and a lot of it will be focused on the #1 team in the country, Gonzaga. They've been a lot of fun to watch, and it's very cool. We're thrilled to go now live to talk to their point guard, Josh Perkins. Josh, thanks. Congrats on a successful season so far, and thanks for making time for us.
I appreciate that, man, and thanks for having me too as well.
All right, so I know there's a lot ahead for you guys, a lot you still want to accomplish. Conference tournament, 4 or 5 days from now. Are you able at this point to just take a little bit of a pause and enjoy what you and your teammates have accomplished so far this season?
It's tough for us not to, but like you said, we got things to accomplish. We still got people to prove wrong, and so we took a couple of days to to congratulate ourselves and think about it a little bit. But like you said, we got stuff to prove, we got stuff to do. So we're back to work. We're practicing, getting better.
You are the epitome of toughness and hard work meeting success in your career, and I'm sure I'll miss some here. With the Zags, you've had your jaw wired shut, you've had shoulder surgery, you have persevered through injuries, and this is true of all guys who are great at what they do. You've had doubters at times, maybe blaming you for things when this team struggled that isn't your fault. When you look back at, not the ups, because you've had a lot of those, we'll get to those, but some of the struggles, how have they shaped you as a man? How have they shaped you as a basketball player?
I mean, I think it's definitely shaped me. Like you said, the injuries, the scrutiny, the critics, but everything. It's more fuel to my fire. And stepping away from the game, with injuries, without wanting to, it kind of gives you the, your edge. It gives you the sense of why you play, why you do what you do. And I took those times, to get better, build relationships with my teammates, on and off the court, and I'm thankful for those, those experiences, those lows, because without the lows, you can't, cherish the highs. But yeah, I love it. Everything I've been through, I wouldn't change it for the world. And right now, we're on a high note. But like I said, we still got stuff to do and we got stuff to prove. So looking forward to do that.
Josh, at the NBA level, the college level, there's been an evolution in the game. Our understanding of the game, we know teams that play defense, teams that move the ball, great team chemistry, selfishness, those things add up to success. It's hard to be an all-time assist leader anywhere in the country, certainly at Gonzaga. So congratulations on that accomplishment. I'm wondering, when you look back at the basketball player you've become, what is about your game, the program you play for, that's allowed you to be such a talent at helping other guys to get buckets and be good at what they do too?
No, I mean, a lot of people, look at me and give me the credit for it. But I always say, I wouldn't have been able to do it without my teammates, without my coaching staff. Those guys, at the end of the day, they make me look good. I don't get the assists unless they, dunk the ball, they make the shot. So, I mean, a lot of credit goes to them. And I play with some, some tremendous talents, from coming in my freshman year, with Wilcher and Sabonis and, and guys like that, Kadron Guinness to Byron Wesley, to Eric McClellan, to now to Rui and BC. And I'm sure there's big time names I didn't mention, but I mean, a lot of credit goes to the guys I play with. I get the assists, but at the end of the day, I mean, they're the ones making me look good. And I mean, I get the, freedom from my coaching staff to, to play how I want to play. And, they trust me with the ball. So I have the ball, majority of the game and try to make the right play. And I think I do that majority of the time. But, like I said, my hat goes off to my teammates and then the guys I play with at this program.
And you're a finalist for top point guard in the game, the Bob Cousy Award. Is there a particular point guard at the NBA level currently, back in the day, players that as you were growing up and learning the game, you wanted to model yourself after, that you studied to get where you're at?
I mean, I try to learn from everybody. I watch every point guard. There's not just one specific guy that, I wanted to model my game after or to play like. I wanted to, play how I play, make a name for myself. But, I mean, it's hard for me not to throw Chris Paul's name out there. Such a, talented individual, a great teammate, great leader. Just how he manipulates ball screens, plays with pace. So, I mean, it's hard for me not to throw Chris Paul out there. But like I said, I wanted to make a name for myself and take bits and pieces of everybody's game. You can learn from everybody, and I think I've done that, this far, and I'm still doing that to this day.
All right, you play for the #1 team in America. Basketball fans should be aware of what you guys are about, but as a former West Coaster who now lives in New York and is soon moving back to L.A., I can remember a lot of teams on the West Coast, just people didn't pay attention because of the time zone. So for folks who haven't paid attention to the Zags but should have been, how would you describe this team and why your squad, you and the guys, have had so much success so far this season?
I mean, you said the word team, and I think that's what we are. You got tremendous, offensive guys. We got tremendous defensive guys. We're 15 deep. We got shooters. We got inside presence. We're physical, and we really just try to play basketball the right way. So we're a great basketball team. We move the ball. We play for each other. We play with each other. And it shows. We really went out there and we play hard. We want to win. Like I said, it's basketball at its highest level. And we try to do that, and we try to play for the right reasons and play for each other. And I think that's what separates us from a lot of teams.
Josh, we're approaching mid-March, and you have to go all the way back to exactly mid-December, December 15th, the last time you and your teammates lost a game against UNC. And you've only lost 2 games this year. The other loss, I think, was the game before that. against Tennessee.
Yep.
That's a long time ago. Are you able to remember and hold on to lessons from just 2 losses when they were that long ago in a season?
I think so. Like I said, we don't have many losses on our schedule, but we remember those, and those are games, we truly felt like we should have won, So, and in both those games, we got pounded on the boards. Rebounding was, a huge error for us in those games. So, we try to, look up at the film, get better from that, and fix the rebounding issue that we had in those games. And I think we've done that. We've taken it more personal, and every day, we work at getting better, as a team defensively, and offensively. But, like I said, rebounding was key. So, just drawing from those losses, trying to get better and fix the things we can. But it's about getting better every single day. And that's what our coaches, stress to us. And that's the message that we, tell each other. So that's what we've been trying to do. And I think we've done that thus far.
I'm not going to pretend that it's been easy. I won't fall into that trap. But you guys have been really successful in conference play. You've won a lot of basketball games. How do you, especially as a senior, make sure you and the guys are keeping your edge even while you continue to roll through W after W after W?
Like I said, we just try to, take it one day at a time, control the things that we can't control. We don't get to control, who shows up on the schedule, but we can control, how hard we work, why we play, and how we play for each other. So we just want to get, 1% better every day and get better at something. I think, like I said, our coaching staff does a great job of, preaching that message to us. That we need to just keep getting better and better every day, so we're at our best when our best is needed. And like you said, it's guys like me and guys like Rui, Snacks, and Killian, people who've been through it, been through the fire, and have some experience. That you just got to keep getting better. Stay confident, and not get complacent in these W's. Because with wins you hide a lot of things, but we're just trying to be the best team that we can. And like I said, peak when we really need to peak.
Any final year at a place that you love, high school or college, can be emotional. I can't even imagine when you add in the fact that you play for that basketball team. You're a big part of what the Zags do. What is just your personal state of mind as you look back at your career with Gonzaga and you know that come what may over the next month, really, at a certain point, your basketball career, at least collegially, is going to be behind you?
I mean, it really hasn't hit me, I haven't been really one to, take the time to reflect on my college career. Just because, I haven't really, there's one goal I haven't reached. I haven't won a national championship, and I haven't, made history for the city of Spokane and for Gonzaga itself. So I haven't really, took the time to, reflect on my college career and think about, the good things that we've been through, together. Just because we haven't, reached the goals. But once we, things finish up, and like I said, it's my last college year, I'll take the time, to look back. But right now, we're still pursuing. We're still in the fire. We still got things to do. We still want to win a championship. So that's the only thing that's on my mind right now. And I think if you ask my teammates, they'd say the similar message. That we still got stuff to do. So it's not about reflecting or like reminiscing about individual stuff. It's about what we can do going forward. And we still got stuff to do.
All right, before I let you go, I want to give your head coach the credit that he deserves, not that he needs it from me. But when people, general sports fans, talk about the best coaches in America, they talk about Coach K, they talk about Roy Williams, some folks talk about Bill Self. And back in my newspaper writing days when I wrote a lot about college basketball, I used to ask a lot of assistants, who are the best coaches in the game? And we'll still on text strings sometimes talk about that. And to a man, every time when you're talking to people that are in the game, that are a part of college basketball, Mark Few's name comes up, even if it doesn't come up as often as it should with fans. So if you can, I don't put words in your mouth, but make the case to me and to folks who don't know better, even though they should, why Mark Few might just be the best coach, basketball coach, college coach in America.
I mean, it's easy. Right away you can just look at his track record. He's 20 consecutive, tournament appearances. We won the WCC, year after year after year. And it's just the players that he's getting. We've crossed off stepping stones. You know what I'm saying? So he just brings out the best in every person. And off the court as well. He's a tremendous role model. And a big time person in the community. And as a leader, that's a guy I want to look up to and a guy I want to live like. He does the things the right way. Like I said, he's there for you on and off the court. And once you got your back, he really has your back. And as a player, that's guys who you want to play for. I think any of us would jump through a wall for Coach Hugh because they know he would do the same thing for us. And like I said, he brings out the best, and he really wants you to win. You know, and winning is a priority. And I think, like I said, his track record and the win speak for itself. I think, you know, without a doubt in my mind, he is the best coach in the country. And it's been a pleasure playing for him for 5 years, and that's a relationship, you know, I hold dearest to me forever.
Josh, you guys play a really joyous style of basketball. It's been a lot of fun to watch it from a distance. We really appreciate the time. Congratulations to you individually, to your team and your teammates, and good luck going forward. Thanks so much for being here on the show.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, Josh Perkins, one of the best point guards in the game. I love watching Gonzaga play. They're so good. They're so well coached. They do everything really, really well. What a nice young man. I really enjoyed the conversation. Show rolls along. We're going to go inside the numbers on a guy named LeBron James. You've probably heard of him, and what the numbers suggest his career could look like when it's all said and done. When we come back to Reiter's Block here in just a minute.
You guys have no idea, man. And I'm trying to give it to you guys, but you guys have no idea what MJ did for me and my friends growing up. You know, just in the sense of, you know, some days where you just don't even feel like you're gonna make it to the next day where I grew up. Like I rode on my shoes tonight, like you saw. I thank MJ more than he've ever known.
There is LeBron talking about MJ, because right there he passed him on the all-time scoring list to move to third. We're going to go inside the numbers to talk about this accomplishment, what it means, and where it might be heading. We start with the number 32,311, as in, after last night, at the end of that game, the number of career points LeBron James has scored, which of course puts him past the greatest player in the history of the game. How about 6,076? LeBron, sits in fourth of all time. I'm moving up quicker than I should. Has those 6,076 points behind all-time leader in points, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, on the show last week. It's going to be a close call to see if the King can catch that number one spot. We'll give you some numbers on that. We went inside those numbers too. 21.7 is an interesting stat to keep your eye on. Because if LeBron plays 4 more seasons, and we know this is all speculative, and let's say he plays 70 games per season, factoring in potential injury and rest, he would need to average 21.7 points per game in each of those 4 seasons to catch Kareem. And obviously, if he makes it 5 or 6, he can average markedly fewer. If he can stay healthy, he can certainly do that. Next up is the number 6. With LeBron now in the Lakers, 6 of the top 8 scorers in the history of the game have played for the purple and gold. That list includes Kareem, Karl Malone, a guy named Kobe Bryant, LeBron, Shaq, and Wilt Chamberlain. What a storied franchise. The number 9 is next up on Inside the Numbers. Earlier this year, Jared Allen blocked the LeBron James dunk. Doesn't seem significant, except it was only the 9th time in LeBron's history that he'd had a dunk attempt blocked. The dunk Allen blocked was LeBron's 1,850th dunk attempted. And finally, 42, it has clearly not been all sunshine and roses and puppy dogs this season for the Lakers. They currently sit 6.5 games back of a playoff spot and have lost 4 straight in 6 of the last 7. During this season, the Lakers suffered a 42-point loss to the Pacers. 42-point loss was the worst by a LeBron James team in a game that LeBron played in. And as cool as last night was, it can't mask the fact that it happened in a loss against a Denver team that the Lakers need to beat. And also, it's worth noting, don't be too negative, people didn't seem that excited in Los Angeles about the whole LeBron just passed Michael thing, and just reaching out to some folks today in and around that Lakers organization in that city where I worked and lived for a long time, moving back in a few weeks. People don't like LeBron right now in LA. I don't think it's rational. It doesn't make sense, but that's LeBron. They love him or they hate him. There's never much middle ground. He's not getting the celebration that, say, a Kobe Bryant would for this mark, because the Lakers are not going to be in the playoffs, and that is clearly not acceptable in Lakerland. They have that storied tradition we told you about, which you already know about. Thank you so much for hanging out here on the show. The guys in Fort Lauderdale taking over right now. Catch you up on what's going on in the world of sports. Sportsline coming up with Eric Casillas in 30 minutes, and we'll see you right back here on Reiter's Block at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific tomorrow here on your home for streaming sports.